stick with the Beatles, right?
I think I'm gonna be something. Thank you today. Girl, that's driving me mad. It's going away. She's got a ticket to ride. She's got a ticket to ride. She's got a ticket to ride. She don't care.
Can I have your autograph, please?
I'm busy right now. Well, once I finish this up, sure.
She said that living with me was bringing her down, yeah. And she would never be free when I was around. She's got a ticket to
Well, hey, art heads. It's time for our daily art tour, and today we're at Cheim and Reed. We'd go in and look at an exhibition by Jenny Holzer titled Dust Paintings. Well, this is the Atrium Gallery, and this piece here is titled Hanging 2014. It's 96 by 6 by 6 inches. It's a four-sided LED sign, RBG diodes. This is what we're actually coming here to look at, are the paintings. And this one is titled Conclusion 2014 Oil on Linen, 102 by 72 inches. And unfortunately, these flashing lights do not aid the viewing of the paintings, but maybe that's the point. Well, they were saying that this is Jenny's first show in New York in about 8 years. And I remember seeing her show up at the Whitney, this has got to be about 4 years ago, and she's doing a lot of similar work to this, but it was all done with silkscreen. This is titled After My Transfer. Well, in the press release, they talk about the fact that a lot of these pieces are based on CIA documents, and some of them are dealing with the criminal investigation of the death of Jamal Nasseri. And I guess he was maybe beaten and tortured as part of the Afghan war. These little pieces are oil on linen. This is titled We Are Not. Oil on linen, 58 by 44 inches. Now, I started seeing Jenny's work, I guess was back in the late 70s, early 80s, up around Times Square, up towards 57th Street. And at that time, and I think she's alluded to this, there was a disgruntled GI who was going through some kind of travails with the government, and he would take all of his documents that he'd received and go out and paste copies of them up around Times Square and think Jenny saw this and kind of took off on that and has been using a similar approach. This is titled "Or Burn Oil on Linen," 80 by 62 inches. This is cold water and I was arrested. Anyway, she started out and was putting together lists of things and kind of poetic statements. And that sort of evolved into their light screens and messages chiseled into granite benches. This is titled "We Don't Know 2014 Oil on Linen, 80 by 62 inches." And one of the things I thought was interesting was that back at that time, Jenny was kind of looked upon as almost like a poet. We don't know our guilt. We have been told that people told the Americans that we can collect things. Okay, so this is conclusion X, 80 by 62 inches. This is maybe my favorite of the black and whites. She was picked up and championed by a lot of the people at October magazine, like Hal Foster and Benjamin Bachlow. And this is titled "Terrorist Group." These are both 80 by 60 inches. And she was kind of part of the pictures generation with people like Cindy Sherman, Robert Longo, Louise Lawler. That was why it was interesting for me to see this show billed as dust paintings, because all the work that I've seen previous to this has been Xeroxes or type LED boards. And coming out as a painter, I think, is risky, a challenge. And I kind of like this room the best because if you didn't know that these were redacted documents, you would just think that they were kind of constructivist or neoplastic abstractions. This is titled "Assets and Activities 13, 80 by 62. This actually does look kind of like a Milovich. It's titled "Top Secret 27. I wonder if Jenny's actually doing the painting or whether she's just directing someone to make the paintings, because whoever is actually doing these paintings is technically pretty competent. They're beautifully done. And let's see if we can get a little of that reflection of that word there at the top. Just nice straight abstraction. This is titled "I Was Called, Oil on Linen, 58 by 44. I was called to the Gardens police station to treat. He had swollen legs in his body. I can't recall if he was bruised anywhere else. So I guess a lot of this kind of dealing with the dark side of the American War on Terror. But as a painter, I have to look at this in a more formalistic way and wonder if doing this by hand is really that much more interesting than having this done with silkscreen. Whether She's doing the medium of painting well, I wouldn't say disservice, but whether she's really getting into it or just using it as another way of producing her product. It's titled Secret, page 3. Oil and linen, 80 by 62. This is 14, 80 by 62. Yeah, these are very nicely painted. Almost recall an Agnes Martin in their restraint. Well, we'll run in and wrap up in the little back gallery. I like this piece, Doodle. So she's got a little diagram, hand painted, but at least here she's venturing into some punchy colors. Started presently in the United States, 2014. And I wonder, okay, we'll see if we can get the text. Presently in the United States, plans to conduct a terrorist operation involving the use of explosives. Okay. Well, I wonder whether these paintings would work as well, just as pure abstraction, if they didn't have the CIA info. This is The Behavior 2013. Oil and linen, 80 by 62 inches. How was the behavior of the Americans? That was injustice to us. They did oppression. Do you have any lawsuit on anyone? How many have you been on the first day? How many are you now? This is XX7, and yeah, despite the fact that Jenny might be wanting to play on conceptualism and formalism and even a little critique of the government, or at least the military, there is a classic formalism here with this square within the rectangle, and even a little black X's. Kind of recall the crosses you'd get in a Mondrian. This has been James Kalm reporting on Jenny Holzer dust paintings at Cheim and Reed. Thank you, Kate.
Take it a rest.
Thanks, Evan.